as you've been playing. How much sharper do you have to be facing the #1 defense in the country?
Like our offense, we have a lot of confidence. The last couple of weeks we've really gained a lot of confidence, and it's still, if you go back and look at the tape, we still miss plays. All up and down the field. Everyone's continually makes mistakes, and I just think we just gotta fine-tune those mistakes. Be conscious of what stops drives and what's keeping us from really scoring a lot of points. And like Barge said, it's going to be exciting playing against the #1 defense. It's going to be a challenge, and it's going to be something I'm already looking forward to.
Have you? If I asked Josh, have you ever played against? When you were at Minnesota, did you play against any #1 of anything nationally? When maybe like in the Big Ten, maybe, but
yeah, tough defenses. They're in every conference. It's just a matter of what we do. It's the only time we've been stopped offensively is when we've stopped ourselves. So I think if we can minimize mistakes and do the things we do well consistently, then I think we're going to be tough to stop.
What sets them apart from maybe some of the other better defensive teams that you have played in your experience? From what you've seen, I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't got a chance to watch a whole lot of tape, but from what I hear, they're big and they're athletic. So that's usually the best defenses are big and athletic.
And then do you see this being like a benchmark kind of game or a proven ground kind of game for your offense, which has been strong all year long, but if you could do really well against this team that's supposed to be the #1 team in the country, then this says what for the offense that you have?
I'm sure really doing well against the #1 defense, it gives you a pat on the back, but really it's just a matter of, winning the game. It's whatever we have to do offensively to win the game is what's important.
And they're really good against the pass. They don't give up a lot of yards against the pass. I don't know if that's because people don't throw against them or if their DBs are really good, what the deal is, but as you look at them defensively, what you've seen on film, what makes them so tough as a pass defense, and how difficult will it be if you're the guy that gets most of the time in the game to try to, exploit that?
I guess probably the biggest thing is they're big and they're lengthy in the secondary and athletic. A lot of times, you get smaller corners, but they're decent size all over the field, and I think with our receivers, they can create separation with no problem. We trust in our receivers. That the confidence level of our receivers is pretty high right now, and I can trust them to create separation when they need to, and I think we could we can do some things against them defensively.
Coach, can you just talk about the two players that are with us today?
Well, we start with Josh, on our left, and I think the thing that stands out with him to me, and I think our whole staff, is just what a competitor he is. And he's one of those guys. Obviously he comes from a really good high school program, and so he was a guy that was making plays back in high school, making it at the highest level. But to see a guy that comes and competes every day, it's important to him. He wants to do well. He's maybe our best blocker at receiver, which is one of the first things we look for. He makes plays in one-on-one coverage against him, and it's important to him. And I think everything he just said about team first, winning first, tells you about his attitude, and I think the attitude of our whole receiving corps, which is, I think every receiver wants to catch balls, and they wouldn't be receivers if they didn't. Are very good at what they do, but they also understand blocking is a big part of what they do. Winning the game is the #1 reason we're all here. So, he said all those things. It was just great to hear it and to see him do it. And he also makes huge plays. And that catch he made going up was just unbelievable. Wish he could have held on to it. But he makes those plays and makes a lot of them in practice. And then Max, to get him here, and we've talked about him so many times, and to see all the growth of all of our quarterbacks, but to see him specifically get attuned to the climate here, and get in the really shape we need to start to understand our offense. I see him getting better every single day. And that was that thing we talked about. We laugh about it now, but when we talked about being a gunslinger, we're not gunslingers. We are we're quarterbacks that drive this team, and you know, they're doing extra film study, they're doing extra work, they're doing all the things we need them to do to lead our team, and Max has really been at the helm of that. And then just final note, to see him at the end of the game when we needed that fourth down play, everybody's covered, and then to take off and get the first down, secure the football, which really allowed us to go ahead and finish that drive off, was just really icing on the cake for what he's done up to this point.
Max, I know what the runs have been this year, but when you were at Minnesota, did you ever have a run like that when you were playing for them? I mean, there was like 19 yards on the stat sheet. Have you ever had a 19-yard game before?
Oh yeah, not of that magnitude. I mean, fourth down, it was, offensive line. I was sitting back there, and I was sitting back there for I don't know how long, and I just, thought to myself, man, I've been back here a while. Our offensive line's done a good job. I got to leave the pocket now. So it was that was an exciting play.
Does that add to your reputation as a mobile quarterback now? I mean, you know that you can throw. Does that say, hey, look, I can run too?
Maybe a little bit, not quite. Kind of stumbled into the fourth down run, but no, it's running isn't a real big aspect of my game, but I embrace it when I get a chance to run.
Josh, what were you thinking when you saw him take off?
I mean, it's not usual to see Max run, but I mean, when I seen him take off and I seen how much grass he had, I just turned around and started blocking. And when I turned around, he was right there, and I was like, yeah, he got us the first down. He made a big play, so I mean, that was clutch on his part. So I mean, the whole sideline was excited to see Max run, especially this morning the film when we watched it.
Can we expect to see more of that, or was that a true scramble and run?
Maybe some things I need to work on is not forcing the ball. So maybe tucking the ball and running is going to be my best option. Upcoming check down by the running back. Like I said, our offensive line has done a tremendous job blocking, and sometimes I get greedy back there with all the time I've had. So maybe in the upcoming weeks, maybe need to tuck it and get out of the pocket quicker.
Do you remember your best run at Minnesota?
Maybe a zone read that I kept for about 20 or 30.
Yeah.
So that was probably my best play there, best run there.
But you're not the second Michael Vick or anything.
No, not quite. Not quite at all.
Coach, we talk a lot about TSU defense, but they got some experience back on the other side of the ball. I mean, what do you see there?
Yeah, I think we were talking about it as a staff. I tell you, one of the things that really stands out to you is just that they do what they do and they do it well. If you go look at their staff, there's a lot of experience, college experience. They've got guys that played in the league, in the NFL, that coached in the NFL. So you see a well-coached unit. They give you multiple formations, multiple personnel groupings, but they're going to run the ball. They're going to run the zone, the stretch, trucks as we call it. But they're going to do it. I mean, it's not one of these things where they're grab bagging, but they're going to establish their running game, and then they play with the two quarterbacks. They've got really good-looking receivers that are long, and then they've got the best tight ends. I don't know if we'll see better tight ends than that. I mean, you got guys that are going, I feel like being in the NFL. I mean, you've got a guy in Leonard who's 6'4", 245, looks like he runs 4.5 40. You've got Samuel, 6'4", 235. You got Bowen, 6'5", 230. Without taking away from their run game or their receivers, I mean, you got three tight ends that you've got to account for as well, and they're in a lot of two tight end sets. Their run pass, they do a good job off their play action. It's just it's a good offense, and I mean, you can see that by the points they're scoring. Obviously, having a really good defense helps your offense play with a lot of confidence. So, but yeah, it's not just a defense game, but they have no offense. They've got both.
And also, can you talk a little bit about homecoming, your first year, and what the importance of the homecoming?
And we said this last week. So, anytime you play a conference opponent on homecoming, I mean, it worries me. I'll just be real honest with you. I think old mindsets of homecoming, and this is some patsy that you bring in, or this is so far from that. I mean, this is one of arguably the best teams we play, if not the best. And then you're playing in front of folks that may not see you, but, one time a year. So that's a big deal to us. Playing at home is always a huge deal to us because we've got a great crowd, great fan support, our band, etc. But to have people that only come see you one time a year, you know, I think I got 35, 40 family members coming, so hopefully they won't be booing me or anything like that. But, you know, I think we want to do well for our home folks, especially at homecoming. Yet here we are playing the #1 ranked defense and a great offense, and it's a conference game, which is our next game. So, you know, I guess we're just adding to the pressure here. But last week, us playing their homecoming was a big deal to us. You know, so I can understand it's probably going to be a big deal to them too as well. So you should see the best from both teams. You know, hopefully we'll do our part.
Their offensive line, the biggest you faced this year?
You know, Alabama State had a really big offensive line. You know, and I think comparatively when we went back and talked about Alabama State, you know, they came out on the field, it looked like an SEC team. I mean, they really did. They were big everywhere, athletic. They had all those transfers. This is going to look very similar to them. You know, you look across 6'4", 300, 6'4", 320, 6'4", 301, 6'5", 315, 6'2", 300. He's the short one of the bunch, you know. But, you know, they're all, I think the thing stands out to me, they're athletic. You know, there's all kind of big guys out there, but big and athletic is you know, that's the combination you want on offensive line for them anyway.